So back when I first started, well, before I started playing violin, I used to always have these questions. I'd see these people playing violin, and I was just absolutely mystified, thinking, what is going on? I'd hear the violin. I didn't know how the bow worked and all that. But I'd hear this, they'd get these different sounds like. And I always used to wonder, where's that vibrato come from and all that stuff. And when I first picked up a violin, I could play it, but there were so many things I just was not able to do and I didn't understand. Like, one of the things was like. So, I'm creating this video just to explain some of the stuff that goes on in the violin and different things like that, in case you're wondering. So, used to hear this kind of stuff, like I never understood how they did this. Like, I'm like, how are they doing that? And nobody really explained this stuff to me. And then I'd hear them do stuff like this. I'm like, how are they getting that sound? Right here. I'm like, how are they getting that sound? And I hear this like a. And this is when I started messing around. I'd hear them do the. And that came pretty easy, pretty quick. But that was like one of the first tricks. I was like. And it took me a little while, to learn all that stuff. Another thing, I'd hear them do. That little sliding around stuff. I'm like, how are they doing that? And I just started eventually picking up on stuff. I was trying to think one of the other things I was wanting to show you. It's like it's like where they go, like Orange Blossom Special Club. That's called spiccato, and I didn't understand that for a long time. I did see Roger Miller doing something like this. So that's another way to do it. But I'm like, how are they playing that? They're hitting that with their finger and all that stuff. There's just so much to learn on the violin. But once you understand, it's like it's no big deal. It's like. There's another sound, like they get that real milky sweet sound. They go like. That little shift thing they do. It took me a long time to understand that. I'm rusty on that violin stuff because I've just been playing fiddle for so long, but it's like. Oh, the vibrato. It took me so long to catch on to that vibrato, man. It's like. But once I caught on to it, it's like it's no big deal. But yeah, playing those two, like playing the double stops and all that. Like. Oh, another thing they did is like all the slurs on the bows. Like, so instead of doing each individual note, it's like you learn. You learn those slurs like just like with the bowing, and gives it a lot more of a beat emphasis, like something you can dance to, you know. So it's like. So it's like it adds more of the emphasis and stuff to it on there like that. But yeah, it's like there's just so much little stuff you got to pick up on the violin. And you got to learn, you know, how to work on them too, because it ain't hard to nobody else knows how when you. So I done worked on this one myself. I put that little pickup in there. I actually had to whittle on the bridge a little bit just to get that thing in there. And I didn't actually put this pickup in the way it was supposed to be done. They told to put it in the bridge in a totally different place, but I put it there because that's the best tone I got out of it when I plugged it in to the amplifier. So I tried a lot of different types of strings and stuff, but I ended up having to adjust this one myself and all that. I've worked over just about every part of this violin. This is actually identical to the first violin I ever had. The first violin I had was identical to this. Same color, brand, everything. You can see how good the wood grain is on there. You learn what to look for on wood grain when you're buying violins. But I walked into this music store one time, and they had a violin identical to the violin I started on, and that was this one. And so I've been playing it ever since the sound post fell out of my other one. I need to put that thing back in there. But you can see how much wear is on that violin neck. And the one I started with has got probably 1,000 times more wear than this one's got on it. I used the dog out of that thing. I need to put some of that sealer on the back of the neck on it though, to keep the moisture from getting up in there. But I like violins. The more you play them, the more character they get. It's kind of like a truck with rust on it, or a truck that's got a lot of miles. And I'd rather have a truck, you know, that has a lot of miles on it, that's had the engine and transmission, all that stuff overworked, than a new one that you don't know if it's a lemon or not. And that's kind of how instruments are. They're kind of the same way. But I started playing instruments before I started driving, so that's probably the reason I like old trucks so well, you know. I kind of think of all my tools that I use in the business, I kind of think of them as instruments. Because I like old instruments. They got more character and stuff. It's kind of like people, you know, are the same way. People are like instruments. The older they get, the more they've been used, the more character they have. So biggest thing with instruments is you just got to play them, you know. But that's a little stuff I've learned on the violin, you know. Oh, the shifts and stuff. Boy, once I learned them shifts and stuff, like how you can start anywhere on the neck and play a song with. You can even do the double stops up there. You can do that, like, you can even go down. Well, that's when I was starting close to the nut, that little nut there. But I don't know, the more I've learned about the violin, the more I realized how, I guess the gooder I got on the violin, the less good I realized I actually was. I think it's like that with anything, you know. Like once you climb to the top of the mountain, you see that there's 100 other people there that have done it before you did. So it's like, well, that's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that's a little stuff I learned on the violin, learn how to do it, you know, that you just learn. You hear people do. It's like little stuff you got to learn along the way, you know. It's like, how did they get those shifts up high like that? Like, how did they do all that? Well, you got to listen to it with your ear, for one thing. Because, I mean, like, if you try to do it, like, without listening to it, it's going to sound really off and sour, you know.